Huawei's P series phones have always been about style and the camera. This is the Huawei P20 Pro. And how exactly does Huawei improve on the already pretty great Huawei P10? Well, it's done a really spectacular job. And we're going to turn the phone over so you get to see exactly what it's done. This is the Huawei P20 Pro. And if you're thinking it looks similar to, say, a regular camera, you'd be right. And that's Huawei's intention, because on this side, you've now got 3 camera lenses instead of just the dual setup that we're pretty used to seeing, not just on Huawei phones, but on phones like the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus and of course the iPhone series. Why 3 camera lenses? Well, this has got a special ability that we've not seen in any other phone. For a start, there is a 5 times hybrid zoom. That's greater than we've seen on any other regular smartphone, which is usually 2, perhaps 3, depending on the phone that you get, zoom. But this zooms in 5 times. We've got a familiar pattern here. We've got an RGB lens, 40 megapixel RGB lens, a 20 megapixel monochrome lens, and then an 8 megapixel telephoto lens. So you're getting a combination when you take pictures of all 3 of those cameras often working together. And the results that we've seen early on are pretty spectacular. Why 3 camera lenses? Very good reasons. You get improved sharpness. Using the 3 lenses at once, you get a more versatile, lengthier zoom, as we were talking about a second ago. And Huawei, using a technology they call pixel fusion, allows 4 times the amount of light to be captured by the pixels inside, giving you spectacular low light photos. We've taken a few samples here just to show off the zoom lens, which we think is really cool. If we go into the gallery here, we've got a regular shot, some macaroons, very nice. And then we go to 3 times zoom and 5 times zoom. And even on the video that you're seeing here, you can see the difference. And when you get in close to these, the detail is all there. And usually on a 5 times optical hybrid zoom, on a digital zoom rather, there's no detail. It's incredibly noisy, incredibly pixely, looks terrible. No one in their right mind would use it. But this is really versatile. We like Huawei's cameras because they encourage that creativity, and having that greater zoom and the ability to take better low light shots really makes this camera exciting. What else can this special camera do? If we have a look under video here, there's a trend that we're seeing a lot more of recently, and that is slow motion video. This shoots at 960 frames per second for that really amazingly creative slow motion video capture. We've given it a try, and in indoor light, and the effects were really great. It does shoot at 720p though, so it doesn't quite match up to Sony's 1080p efforts. However, that matches Samsung's Galaxy S9, and we know that that is a very fun feature to use. Now, Huawei has also upgraded its AI in the new phone. Now, we've seen this on the Mate 10 Pro, where it has scene recognition. It understands what you're pointing the camera at. There are now 19 categories for it understanding what it sees, and the way it does this is also really quite clever. The AI composition system now actually tries to recommend the way that you frame a shot. So say you were shooting at a portrait environment, there's a group of people, it will highlight around the screen an effort to say, well, you need to get in a little bit closer, or you need to get a little bit further away to make sure everybody's in the shot. It's a really great idea. It's also got lines on the screen for ensuring that your horizon is straight, and this is all powered by artificial intelligence. So it's reacting to what it's seeing instead of just using an onboard sensor. Additionally, the AI does something clever with stabilization. Now, we've probably all done it where we've tried to take a picture of something moving in the wind, for example, a flower. Well, a focal system here that also uses AI keeps the flower in focus even if it's moving around, And we've never seen anything quite like that before, and we're looking forward to trying it out. We haven't had the chance yet, but it certainly looks really impressive. Add in the usual features. We've got Huawei's portrait feature, we've got Huawei's aperture feature, which blurs the background on what you're seeing, and we're pretty excited about the triple lens camera on the P20 Pro. If you buy a regular P20, you only get a dual lens camera. Very good, I'm sure, but let's face it, you're going to want to buy the P20 Pro. And when you do buy the P20 Pro, you're going to want to buy this one. It comes in a colour called Twilight, and as far as we're aware, it's the first in the industry to use a gradient across the glass back here. It's really difficult to see on video, but this comes in sort of a purpley bluey green the more you move it around in sunlight, and it looks fantastic. It is very reflective, and we've cleaned this 100 times or more to get our fingerprints off. However, it's worth it because it looks fantastic. You can also see here how good the blue looks on the P20, also available on the P20 Pro, and a really nice blacky grey granite version. Flip the P20 Pro around and we're greeted by this, a 6.1 inch OLED screen, and it is beautiful. What you will notice, of course, is up here there's a notch. Controversial design decision, we're sure you'll agree, particularly because at the moment we can't find any function for the notch to be there, i.e. it doesn't do anything new when we pull down the notification screen on either side. It does exactly the same, and there's a split for the notifications on this side and the usual information on that side. So at the moment we're not seeing any reason outside of design to do this. However, the other design decision that we're surprised about perhaps is the fingerprint sensor down the front. It's not on the rear like previous Huawei larger phones, for example the Mate 10 Pro. The fingerprint sensor down here is easy to touch, and as usual it's extremely fast, as we're experienced on most Huawei phones. Another thing worth noting here is just how comfortable this phone is to hold. This is beautifully curved and absolutely perfect for the hand, really super comfortable. It's also quite weighty, but in a very pleasant way. For the first time too, this is IP67 rated, so it's water and dust splash resistant, which is great. However, the P20 doesn't have such a high water and dust resistance, so if you're clumsy, the P20 Pro is the one to go for. Inside on the Pro is a 4000 milliamp hour battery, which should see this last in a similar way to what we're experiencing on the Mate 10 Pro, which is to say about 2 days if you're really careful. It's excellent battery life. Slightly smaller in the P20, it's 3400 milliamp hours, but still that's larger than most of the competition, the iPhone 10 and the Galaxy S9 for example. Now we're going to be playing with the Huawei P20 Pro a whole lot more, and we're very much looking forward to it. If you're wondering what the video performance is like, well, this is being shot on a P20 Pro, so you've got a good idea of how good the video performance is. You can read plenty more about this exciting new phone on Digital Trends, and look out for a lot of camera comparisons because we